Hello and welcome to Matt's B-Movie Reviews, a show that looks at cult films that may have escaped your radar. Happy New Year! Oh, just kidding, ran out of breath there. So how was everyone's holidays? I hope you had a really good break and enjoyed the Christmas period. Personally, I was just happy I managed to try out my butthead game. Butthead. Oh, that one's stuck. Oh, not quite. Come on. Oh.
Could be seen as offensive.
Hey! Yeah, I do realise what I look like with that on, so no need to comment below. Plus, me and my brother got a really good Christmas gift of table football, which we spent hours and hours playing. So now we're in the wacky world of 2015, as predicted in Back to the Future Part 2, which I think I'm going to have to look at a later date because it's quite intriguing. Anyone wearing those double ties or bought a hoverboard recently? There's still time. There's still time. So anyway, onwards, let's celebrate the new year by looking at a movie that I have heard about often and I've finally got a good excuse to watch. So kicking off my first review of the year, prepare yourself for 1980's New Year's Evil. Here's the plot. A Gotham rock show presenter is getting phone calls from a killer on the eve of the new year. He claims that he's going to murder someone at the stroke of midnight in each time zone. Yikes. As if that's not bad enough for the show host, he's claiming that she'll be his final victim of the evening. You better watch out. Actually, no, wait, that was the last review. Can she keep it together long enough to keep the show going and help the police lay a trap for this maniac? Or will she be dead by the stroke of 12? Firstly, I just want to say that New Year's Evil seems the correct follow-up to A Christmas Evil, which I reviewed in my Christmas special last month. Now, New Year's Evil is quintessentially an 80s movie, and it seems to have sprung up at the time with the success of such films as Halloween and Friday the 13th, which were taking off in tremendous ways. Unfortunately, this movie has none of the class, style or directing prowess that those movies did, and it hasn't aged well at all. Since the film is mainly set during this goth rock show, most of the music in that is obviously of the day, punk and rock, which dates the film quite badly. Which is strange because other movies set during the same period actually play on this 80s nostalgia music. Now, I should probably point out that I'm not a big fan of these slasher horror movies. There are many subgenres to horror. Slasher is not my favourite. However, if it's done right and the kills are, let's say, inventive, then I will be on for the ride. I mean, I just took one look at the movie poster and wanted to see this movie straight away, being a fan of these cheesy B-movies. However, the poster is barely recognisable to the film, although there is a sequence where the killer does hide in a skip and flicks his lighter on so you just see part of his face. It kind of looks a little bit like that, but most of the film he doesn't look like this at all. In fact, I don't actually think that is the killer on the posters. Now, another thing that didn't quite work is that we see the killer from the start of the film. He calls up the goth rock show presenter and disguises his voice with a kazoo. Just instead of being menacing, it's hilarious. Take a look.
Call me evil.
What should we call him?
Call me evil.
Sorry, I missed that. Say that again.
You bad, huh?
No. Just evil.
It's like the scriptwriters were just having a laugh when they came out with this. I wouldn't say the film was supposed to be tongue-in-cheek, but scenes like this just don't help. Quite frankly, the creepiest telephone conversation I've ever heard in a horror movie was probably in the Black Christmas original from 1970s. The telephone conversation with the psychotic killer when he rings up is kind of weird. If I can find the clip, I'm going to play it now.
Hello? Hello? Look, who is this?
Please stop. Oh, God.
What do you want? Why are you doing this?
Help me, Billy. I know you're there, Billy. Your answer is me.
Who are you? For God's sake, what are you doing?
I know what you did, Billy. Help me, Billy. Billy, Billy.
What makes that clip worse for me is that I once answered my home phone and someone proceeded to scream straight down the phone line and then hung up on me. I have no idea to this day who the hell it was, but funnily enough my flatmate Joe at the time, I did mention the creepy phone call in the movie, so it could have been him because he wasn't home. You know, Joe, my old flatmate, was a right prankster because he once hid a cardboard cutout of Hermione in my bedroom and it scared the living crap out of me when I went in there in the dark. I still need to get my own back for that, so mark my words, I will get you back. One day. So back to the movie, what are its good points, what are its bad points? Probably none, to be fair. I mean, there's a number of kills in the movie, but they're done with no flair, as I've already mentioned. And there seems to be no reason why he's picking these victims in each time zone. He just seems to disguise himself and then go after them. I'd say the killer, in fact, is the weakest point in the movie. Now, one interesting point in the movie that never really gets followed up with is with the show host's son, who actually looks old enough to be her boyfriend and is introduced by coming into a room with some roses and kiss her on the lips. So I don't know what the hell the filmmakers were thinking with that. Now, in this scene, she proceeds to ignore him as he's trying to explain he's just landed a role in a pilot TV show. He's clearly upset and she's got bigger things on her mind. She soon leaves and he just sits brooding in her hotel room. In fact, we see him watching the TV and starts to get really agitated. He even takes a handful of red pills, I think, which don't really get explained. They're obviously trying to show that he's mentally unstable for some reason. As if that wasn't weird enough, he sticks like a weird nylon stocking over his head and kind of pierces his own ear, I think, which I was wondering what the hell was going on at this point, and it looks like he's out to kill his mother for obviously not paying enough attention to him or whatever. Now, spoiler alert, because I need to explain these previous points, the killer turns out to be the show host's husband, aka the son's father. So there obviously is some sort of thread like father like son in this movie, but it's just not used well enough to actually make any sort of sense. Saying that, the film's called New Year's Evil, it's obviously just a cash-in. I'm sure no one's got an Oscar off the back of it, but I'm sure the video sales were pretty good back in the day. I don't know, so overall the movie plods along at an old geezer's pace, promising horror, shocks and terror and lots of blood, but delivering very little, to be honest. I watched the film on YouTube as it was free to watch, and it's been uploaded on the Horror Movie channel, which I've subscribed to, which is pretty good. I'll put the link here and the videos here. Watch if you get a chance, although I must say I have no inclination whatsoever to see this movie ever again in my lifetime. So I'm going to give this movie my patented Steaming Turd Award, which I haven't handed out for quite a while. Now enough about that, let's move on to the next review. I'm going to give you the choice of 2 movies and I want you to pick the cheesiest sounding one, okay? So we've got the Poundland Special Ghosts of Sherwood, or a movie that my sister lent me called The Basement. Both sound equally cheesy, although I think Ghosts of Sherwood has just got a little bit more edge than the other one, who knows. Let me know in the comments below or via my Facebook page as usual, people. So that's it, it's good to be back for another year. I hope you've got plenty of recommendations of movies that I should review. So as usual, thanks for watching, constant viewer, and I hope to see you next time. Bye! Now Revival very much goes back to Stephen King's horror roots and plays nods to Mary Shelley and H.P. Lovecraft, which King claims electricity is the main theme of Revival.